Bum, bum, bum. We're doing it live. Maybe. Let's see. Fuck. I do that every time. And that too. It's one of those mornings. Maybe. I know. Eventually I'm going to have this all... I'll figure it out and I can just click the thing and then you guys won't have to deal with this. But for right now, it is what it is. You have my sympathies. But you have my deepest sympathies. Just me talking about myself as though I'm a xenomorph, the perfect organism. It's a joke, a very clear joke. Okay. It's especially a joke if you realize how incapable I am about a lot of things. So yeah, good morning. I woke up at like 5, so I've been up for a hot minute. Funny enough, just talking about, we were talking about this fun paper here the other day, and I, this morning, decided that, fucking up one of them wasn't enough, so I think I would rather fuck up 3 of them on cuties. So it got a hole in it, and I replaced it last night after fucking with it for so long, and it was extremely stressful. And then when I finally changed it, I started to print again, and it did the same thing, and I realized that there were broken pieces of resin in my bottle of resin. I don't know how. I don't know what I did. Did something dumb, but somehow resin that was already cured got in my non-cured resin, which means that it got into my vat. So when the panel, the plate, when the plate goes down to touch, when you send the plate back to home to start printing, it goes pretty much flat. If there are pieces of resin in there, it will push those. It doesn't stop because of the in there, so it pushed the resin through. So I just pretty much wasted like 2 of those sheets. I'm not excited about that, but lessons learned. Make sure you don't have resin in your vat for some insane reason. This guy printed out last night, and I have now started the second half. This would be, I believe, the Thorough Wood. I've already closed. I want to say Thorowood is the name of the family that owns this residence in Greenwood, or Thorough Red, something along those lines. But so here's another building for the project. I'm not going to break that apart right now. I will show a couple other things that I've gotten. So we've got this guy. It's a third, like a corner kind of edge. We've also since printed this guy, which will be good. So I think that's the last new house I've printed. I've printed a ton of other things though, and I do not believe that I included these. I don't think I covered these at all with my last stream. Possum. Bum, bum, bum. So this is like one of my favorite sculpts ever at this point. I love this model. You're awake this time, Possum. Yeah, the pit locust is what this is, from Trench Crusade, which is one of my absolute favorite works of art in from in the project. But man, I'm trying to get really dialed in so you can see that face. The face is gnarly as hell. I don't know, I think that's about as crisp as I can get it. I mean, it's insanely detailed though, for how small this guy is. Which again, I normally don't mess with minis that I don't cut and hack apart and all the stuff. But man, I'm probably going to not do anything too crazy to this guy. Probably going to print and just paint all of the Trench Crusade models at least once, just because they are really sick sculpts. And I say that one, the dude with the split goat head is gnarly as hell. Which again, like all these, you can see online, but seeing them in person, it was just like, oh man, that's a hell of a lot more detail than I expected initially. But yeah, very, very intense. Way more detail than I had initially expected. And pretty much all of them printed like that. The 3 knights. There's 2. This guy. And then I printed out essentially I printed out the starter set of the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent. So there's the sorcerer. And then I went back and pretty much just bought almost all the other Trench Crusade files that I didn't already have, because they are sick as hell, and I'm probably going to want to have all of them painted anyway, because that'll be a lot quicker than trying to convert everything in order to play, because I really want to cover a lot of ground. So I think learning the game with just regular models while I work on converting up my own will be much more good use of time than trying to convert everything all at once while I'm initially learning to play. That's how stuff ends up not getting painted and not done while you're playing. So I'm going to not do that. Other than that, today I'm pretty much trying to decide if I want to work on Trench Crusade Terrain, continuing that, or if I want to build a castle for 1490 Doom. And I'm kind of leaning on that one because I've almost come up with like the layout. I'm using a lot of flower pots on that Lazy Susan that I built, so I think I might grab that so you can see that. And I will put this right there. And it's over here. Yeah. And then I'll grab my flower pots. So yeah, I've got all these flower pots. I was like, man, what am I going to do with them? Scooch this back a little bit so it's not in a shot. But yeah, so we wanted, according to Cody, our tallest building to be 8 to 10 inches, which means 10 inches because I want it to be tall. Funny enough, 10 inches is like the height from the bottom of this cup to the top of this flower pot. So I am just trying to design the layout of this keep. And my thinking was, I've got a bunch of different sized flower pots. And that is because I buy a lot of plants. Some of them I kill, some of them I don't. But these have been hanging out in my backyard for a hot minute, hence why they kind of also look like shit. But that's not really a big deal because we're going to clean them. Whatever we use, we're going to clean and then going to turn it into a castle. I'm thinking this is very wide, so it's probably going to be our lower in the middle, the base kind of the structure. And I'm probably going to cut it about here-ish, or wherever the floor level is going to be, which I'm thinking is about right there. Probably going to cut right there. And that is going to become the foundation of my first floor, but I'm going to definitely overlap these other ones on top of it. So I think I'm just going to get stuck into it. So just start right there. Honestly, I'm just winging it at this point, but I have kind of an idea in my head of what I want the castle to look like. And I know that this is a good, quick way to get the shapes locked in. And then I will use foam to pretty much fill it. Because this is very much just a loose shape. Just a big, very flimsy plastic circle. But I just want the plastic. And I can put foam in there to keep it in that shape. So, that's why we're doing it. And Then I will probably take the insulation foam that I have been cutting out of those tiles for Trench Crusade, and I will be running them through my Proxon to cut them into rough kind of squares, and then we'll use those as stones up on here. Okay, so I think that kind of shows at least a basic what I meant by that. Give you the idea of how tall it is, about yay tall. So Cody, I believe, said 3 inches. I don't know, my phone went. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, I don't know why I've got these on there. I'm gonna put those wherever they go. The supports box. Supports go in the support box. Right now, I currently have Kitty's printing the Desecrated Saint, the Praetor, and the Hunter of the Left-Handed Path, I believe, which is fucking awesome. Like, I looked into how that model actually plays for the first time yesterday, and it is so sick. Essentially, it's able to move if it walks into contact with a piece of terrain. Like, it's like, oh, doop, 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 doop. It can pretty much come out over here because it walks the pathways between heaven and hell. I was like, that's so fucking rad. So 3 inches is what we're wanting this to be. I'm pretty good. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I mean, right at 3 inches. Like, the highest point is 3 1/4, and the lowest is like 2 3/4, just a smidgen shy. Yeah, so that's roughly what we're wanting per level, if I'm remembering correctly, based on what Cody said. It's his game, so I'm taking his advice pretty to heart. I don't want to make something that will not play well, but 3 to 4 different elevations. More than that, people rarely get to the top. It's difficult to engage in melee. We don't want that at all. We want the most melee. I want Super Smash Brothers melee. Make the hall structure 8 to 10 inches off of ground level. We are going to do that. That way it's too tall for a grappling hook to instantly scale. Very playable boards look less like a traditional castle and more like a spire. And you want to go from many natural entry points to the first level off the ground to only one ladder route to the top. Basically, you want every single logical route to lead to the top, but there becomes fewer and fewer alternate routes, up to the closer you get to the tallest point, eventually forcing everyone to fight for one path to victory. You want none of them essentially just going nowhere. We want everything to lead to the top, otherwise players won't go where we're going. Yeah, I'm thinking this there. That one there. I'm thinking right there looks pretty fun. And I'll cut up here. I'll cut up there. And just slide it over. Or hobby knife. You always go hobby knife. So this guy has more of a lip down there. So in my mind's eye. That's the key part, is to visualize in your mind's eye the indoor swamp. You won't be sure how you got there. You won't be sure you'll ever want to leave. Yeah. All right. That's going to be good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's going to be good. All right. So we want to make a 3-inch cut in here because we're wanting that pot to slide over top of this one. Like so. And then we want to come on this side, and we're going to cut the pot over here in a similar manner. I'm just going straight down with these. Again, we will clean these, like all the dirt that's on them. That will get dealt with once I figure out what we're going to keep. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Get down there. Alrighty. Looks pretty fun. I don't know about you, but I think I would like to get away from a crawling fog that turns my skin into mush and melts me down by climbing up in here in this castle. That sounds like a fun thing to do. Survive the night. So, tallest castle point. It's supposed to be yay high. Wait a minute. That's not it. That's 11 inches. Where'd my little pot go? There it is. Coming up in the keep. Go on, unlock the door. Do I need another one? Another big round? How would other big round make that look? Like a Mickey Mouse. Couldn't just Mick Mouse. Thinking almost. So we want everybody to go into the ground floor. So we've got the ground floor. Then we want everyone to move up, but fewer places to move up. And this is supposed to be our tallest height. We'll put that in the center, essentially. Really, maybe this guy. This guy there. That up there. I'm thinking that looks kind of good. Kind of like that. I think that's good. All right. So yeah, lot of people don't know, that's another big part of 1490 is the dinosaurs. You got to make sure you don't get eaten by the dinosaurs. Hence the Jurassic Park music. That's a joke. There are no dinosaurs in 1490 film. There should be. Be the change you want to see in the world, my friends. Okay. Yeah. Now, yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking that looks good. And now we're going to cut this one. All right. Good morning, Eric. How are you, my friend? Blah. Clocked in, caffeinated, muffined. Hell yeah. Caffeinated and muffined? I've not been either of those. I need to get my muffining on. I don't even know if we have any muffins. I'm a cereal kind of guy. I like to eat Cheerios every day, like a psycho. Gotta have my plain Cheerios. Yeah, that looks good. It's gonna be a castle. Bum, ba-dum. Okay. It is raining today, which is always exciting. I always like a good little bit of rain, as long as it doesn't rain too much and floods my basement. But I don't think we have anything to worry about on that one. So that's good news. Doing a little bit of sliding. I can't skate with the bowl of cereal. Oh yeah. I forgot Possum super punk and skates to work. I wish I could skate to work, but I guess now I just would skate down my stairs. I also can't skate at all. That is one I never learned how to do. Probably would have broken something very badly. I say that, but I didn't break a lot of bones. I didn't break any bones until I was an adult, which is crazy because, like, looking back, I'm like, how did I not die? But again, most of those things weren't like, oh, you could break a bones. They were like, oh, you would just die. So that makes sense. I know one trick: pushing. Okay, well, there you go. That definitely could do it. Yeah, I don't even know if I could stand up straight on a skateboard. I loved rollerblading, loved riding a bike as a kid, but that is one thing I never learned how to do. I had a lot of friends that did. This little flower pot, thought that it was just going to go in the trash, but it didn't. It's going to become a castle. All these flower pots. So I think the smallest one, I think this is from like the green arboretum, green arboretum, the emerald green. They're the typical like suburbs pine, like dividing kind of bush. I like them. Theo likes them a lot, so we have gotten a couple of those over the years, but then recently, because they cut down all the trees behind our house, now you can see the neighbors' houses and stuff, so we kind of wanted a little bit more privacy above our fence, because it's just like fence, house now. So in a couple of years, those little trees will grow up and I won't have to see my neighbor's house. Hopefully. Now that is kind of looking like a castle from my angle. From your angle, I'm not sure. Maybe up from up top. But maybe from the side also. Man, I just realized, Eric, anyone asking about, like, man, how's Eli doing at work? It's just like, well, have you seen Parks and Rec? And then you just, like, show them me and then show, like, what's his name, like, with the cones. And it's just like, it's not intentional, but that is absolutely, I guess, where I'm at right now. I'm at the cone phase. That works out pretty well for him, though, if I remember correctly. That is a show, though, so that's not good. That's probably not the best judgment of my life and how it's going. Oh, yeah. That's good. I'm going to cut over here now. Yeah. We're going to end up cutting into there a little bit. Wah, wah. Okay. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? Maybe. We watched Mother last night, a good Easter film, with an exclamation mark. Mother, not the good Easter film, exclamation mark. So that probably needs to be cut in a little bit. This is going pretty quick. I think I just needed to get up and do the thing. I've been wanting to make a 1490 Doom board for a couple weeks now, and it's just like I should just wake up and do it. I know I have the stuff to do it, and we can play games on it. That's one of the biggest draws for this game for me. Not just the game itself, which is rad, but the fact that you only need 3 models, so you need a board that will fit. The round thing is a wall. Originally saw it as a pancake with current. Yeah. So essentially, these are going to be the walls, like the outside walls. And I realize that, like, from the top down, it doesn't make too much sense. But yeah, this will be a wall that will have a floor. That way our dudes can climb up here and kind of get from here to here to here. We definitely we need to figure out a way to make people choose to go to these two, but ultimately the only way to get to where you need to be is up here. But you can't go straight there. We just need to make sure that there's no way straight up. You gotta go one of the other routes. Also, 8 to 10. Don't want it to be too tall. It's not too tall. That would be 10. Like a cat tower. Yeah, you want it to be like a cat tower in every way. Really, that's the... Okay, Cody, I'm onto you now. Thank you, Eric. This didn't make sense until now, and I'm kind of starting to feel like I'm being sold my own thing already. It's just like, wait a minute. This is just a game about cat towers. This isn't reinventing the wheel, Cody. I've watched my kids play this game all the time. And yeah, it is brutal as shit. They'll throw each other off the top. And they scream, Doom Company, when they do it. Or 1490 Doom. Margot would actually just yell 420 Doom, 420 Doom, and then throw, like, her siblings off the tower. Oliver wouldn't play. Oh, no, I don't play. I just watch. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty fine. That one looks okay. He looks okay. He's all right. I think he's all right. Yeah, so we're going to fill this up with foam. I don't know how much. Bum bum bum. I guess we're gonna need a hot glue gun, and we're gonna need some foam. Not a foam head. Not another foam head. You gotta make sure you always have your Sigourney wigs. Sigourney wig. You never know when that comes. I'm probably gonna use this stuff because it's really, really lightweight. I'm probably gonna use this stuff. I might use the other foam. So this essentially the difference between them, and this is. So to my knowledge, this would be called closed cell packing foam. It's kind of along the lines. It's Sigourney wig. It's the only way to be sure. It's the only way to be sure. What, did you try the Sigourney wig? Essentially, it's what, like if you buy a computer or any other like electronic hardware, like we'll typically put it in here. It's better than styrofoam for this kind of stuff because it does not, like when you cut it, it doesn't go everywhere. Stays together. I just use it as filler foam because it's extremely lightweight. It's more lightweight than this stuff. However, I don't know. It does not. It's just foam. I think I'm just going to use this. I think I'm just going to use this because I do have enough of it to fill this in, and it will stay lightweight, and I can keep using that specifically for Trench Crusade. I have enough to do my 1490 board with this foam. I don't like to mix different types just because when you get into painting, if anything goes wrong and you've got two different types of foam in there, sometimes they don't take paint, they don't take clay, they don't take the same things the same way, and then you can have like a weird, you will tell that you made it out of two different things because on a chemical note they won't mix together, and then you put paint over it and you can still see those kind of like separations, and that kind of stuff is pretty big for me. It pulls me out of feeling like I'm there, the immersion. I'm not immersed anymore. You made me get out of the tub. Okay, so this guy, we really just need to put a bunch of foam right in there. So we're just going to do that. It's time to build up the foam circle. Foam circle. We need a glue gun. We're going to need a glue gun. Oh, come on. I believe my glue gun is stuck. Nope. There it is. What in tarnation happened to all my glue sticks? I got one. Put it in there. Nope. I am going to apologize that like half of my streams are typically just me looking for shit in my already organized area. There they are. I don't know why I put them over there. That's silly. Probably because that's where the rest of my stuff that I'm working on is. I need to get more glue sticks too. All right. Bum bum bum. We might end up using that, but I don't know. We might take the top, put it down in there. Again, do have the procs on. I'm really just kind of vibing with just cutting though. Proxon's really good for making like really straight cuts, and I'm not doing straight cuts right now. I'm just like, I need to shove a bunch of foam into this like whole thing. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my life. This would be the same kind of foam that I've referenced. You're giving us the true hobby hang experience. I feel like I'm giving it. It's this is. I wake up at 6 whatever in the morning. I'm like, it's time to just start cutting apart flower pots and putting together a castle out of trash, babies. And here we go, trash babies. Either A, referring to you as babies, or B, referring to trash babies. Some babies I have made out of trash. Alrighty, that's probably going to fit in there. Yeah, that looks great. We're doing a great job. I never plugged in my glue gun. Man, sometimes you think you got it all figured out, and then you realize you never plugged your glue gun in. So where do you really think you're going to go? Man, to think. Glue gun? Yeah. I definitely remember how these were laid out. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably good. And then put another one in there. I'm pretty much just going to be squeezing these into the vents. And I'm going to cut them all flat like a cake or a pie. It's going to be the big knife. And it's like, but plastic, not cake. Still can eat it. It's the best part about this table is it is still completely edible if you're able to eat foam and garbage and dirt. And yes, just like a cake. Makes me think of there was an episode of, I want to say it was My Strange Addiction, where the girl was addicted to eating Ajax, like the bar cleaner. Have you played 1490 Doom yet? I have not. I've looked at all the rules, and I have made I've printed a bunch of little models out, and I've watched other people play some videos. I watched some games happening at Adepticon, but I did not get to jump in myself, and I'm really, really excited to, which is why I was like, I gotta build a little board, and I wanted to do it yesterday because I was really hung up. Initially, I was really hung up on doing it on the 19th, because then I was like, it's like 419 Doom, if you like switch it all around, which was the precursor to 420 Doom, which was my initial thought of I just want to get real high and make a castle on 420, and I didn't do that. So here we are. It's 421 Doom, but I'm thinking this is good. I know verticality is important, but I've been wondering about how it's handled with moving upwards. So the rules. Got my 1490 little rule book here. Movement is 14. Oh, way too far. Movement. Each model may move up to the number of inches indicating the profile when using the move action. They can move less, not at all, if you wish. You can move to friendly models as long as your movement allows you to move past them completely. You can never move off of the battlefield unless rules specifically state so. There are a few different types of terrain in 1490. Scalable terrain can be climbed and moved on. Unscalable terrain cannot. Anything that is not a scalable man-made structure is ground level. A man-made structure, such as a castle or house, and items attached to them are structure. Barriers may be under 1 inch in height for this rule. Structure is less than half an inch wide, less than 1 inch tall as a barrier. They are most commonly decorative walls on the edges of castles, like ramparts, but can also include fences, barricades, or anything similar. When climbing barriers, do not count them when measuring the height needed to climb. Models can lean over barriers when turning line of sight for range checks. That's fine. During movement, a climb check is not required to move up or over something that is 1 inch or shorter. Instead, complete your movement as if you used 1 inch of movement to move over it. Scaling. So, yeah, it is under scaling, I think. If you want to gain a better view of your opponents with your bow, there's a nearby ladder that you can scale to reach the top. First, you move to base contact with the climbing item, a ladder in this case. Then they use the scale action. No matter the height of it, they move into base contact with the ladder at the very top. In this case, though, the scavenger has no remaining actions. So the count is being on the ladder until they can make another action, which must be a dash or a move. This leaves them vulnerable to an attack, and if damaged, they may potentially fall. So the actions are essentially like climbing ladders, using grapplings, set ladder. A model sets a ladder they have against a structure they are in base contact with. The structure can be a maximum 4 inches high. So yeah, so 3 inches. There's a very large, scary centipede. I don't. Centipedes coming up in my house. Not today. Not today, Jesus. Alrighty. So yeah, the verticality. Essentially, it's just using ladders, using actions to move up. Once you've placed the ladder, as far as crawling sheer scaling, I think it was a risky, almost like a risky, like Trench Crusade kind of thing, where it's just like you would do a test, a climbing check. But yeah, so you need lots of entryways for them to get in. So these are going to be kind of sloped, or have stuff kind of leaning against them to where everybody can kind of climb up to the first one. From there, it's going to be like you'll need ladders or grappling hooks to ascend, ropes to get to the next parts. And again, this could be a matter of I should have played this fully before I started building a board, and we'll figure that out together. Like, man, I just kind of want to build a castle today. That sounds kind of fun. It seems like a fun day to build a castle. Oh no, my things. Which, speaking of fun, hey, our glue is ready. My bubble beep. Lots of pops. That's good. That's how you can tell that it's really, really hot. So if you want to get a burn, you can just be like, oop, okay, here we go. I'm ready. Pro tip, don't do that. Don't try to get burnt. Wow, just watched the preview trailer. It's great. What preview trailer are we talking about? What was I talking about? Man, I don't know. All right, glue gun. Oh, Doom. 1490 Doom. Yeah, that's what you just watched. I get it now. Did I go too far? No, not far enough. Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. The fact that it's only 3 guys, you have a three person little group. It's played on a pretty small table. Like I'm hoping that I can knock out a table for this game like today, so then I can like play it today or later, like maybe tomorrow. I put too much glue on this and it's up to my hands. It's okay. Over the years, I have done enough, I think, traumatic damage to my hands that I can leave my fingers just in hot glue for quite a while. That it's fine. Sometimes you just need to traumatize your digits. Don't. It's not good. They feel weird. Okay. 1490 Doom preview trailer on GameFound. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, if you're watching this at a later point, go check out 1490 Doom. It's on GameFound. I can't wait to back it. It's got cool models. It's got cool castles. It's quite the rage in France. You know, the French, they love their castles, and they love throwing people off of them. Am I right? I do. I'm so pumped to throw people off of castle walls. I was actually telling my wife's grandmother that yesterday. We were at Easter, and they were asking me, like, oh, so how are things going? And I was like, they're going really good. I think tomorrow I'm going to build a castle for a game called 1490 Doom that my friend Cody and my friend Eric made. And it's pretty much about fighting your way to the top of a castle and throwing each other off at the top. And she was like, well, that sounds fun. And I was like, oh yeah, Grandma. Which, that's the thing, Kelly's grandma is dope as hell. She knows so many Donkey Kong and Super Mario secrets, like, but I mean, like, really cool, like, she figured them out. Like, not, isn't it like Austria that they love throwing people out of windows? Yes. I believe so. I think it is, yeah, I want to say it was, yeah, Austria. They were really fucking big on in throwing people out windows. I hope, is that a little bit of information from Puppet History? Awesome. I feel like it is. That's how I know of it. I love Puppet History if it is, which that's probably fucking given. Now we have a word for it. Yes. Defenestration. Yes, defenestration. Defenestration. Like, I can't stress. I'm so pumped about throwing people off of like castle walls. And yeah, there's a whole episode about Puppet History, which again, if you are watching this and you like things that I say and think I'm funny, you should check out Puppet History. Holy fuck, it's good. It is the same guys as Watcher. I'm a huge fan of Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara and Stephen Lim, and Ricky. Ricky's my favorite, actually. Ricky is their bartender friend. That is also, I think, part of Watcher now. But they worked at BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed for years. They did the unsolved ghost file, like the unsolved like mysteries, and they pretty much, they would go to haunted houses, and they are ghost hunters. From the Austrian-German word for Window das Fenster. Window das Fenster. Throw him out the window. Bitte nicht werfen. That is a bit of German that I know because it was written on the side of a antenna, which when I worked in telecom, we had to go to our sister company, and I was in their warehouse, and they had a box. It was an antenna box, so it's like 10 to 12 feet long. It's a huge box. There's no way you could pick this up and throw it, but in German, in giant letters, it says Bitte nicht werfen, which literally translates to do not throw. And it's just like, no human could throw that. But it just sums up how utterly brutalistic and blunt like German is as a language. And I personally really like that it's just like our language is Germanic. Like English is a Germanic based language, which is why our words make sense to us when we say them. They don't have, there is no gender associated to words. It's an ugly, brutal, blunt language that explains what it says as blunt as possible, so there's like no room for misinterpretation. And like it's very clear that like English was like kind of taken from that, and then just a whole lot of goofy shit done to it. But yeah, that again, my my wife, one of her closest friends, and her husband have a thing where they try to come up with the most believable. They try to come up with the most believable conspiracy theories, and I think my favorite that Chelsea came up with. Please no throw. Please no throw. One of my favorites that Chelsea came up with. She was like, "I think Eli is a Nazi," and her argument was that he's learning German, that he's very interested in World War I history. Like, on paper, there's a lot of things that's just like, yeah, except I really fucking hate Nazis. I love German history, and I love history. That's really good. But Germany is an interesting place, and I have German background. Like not a lot. I'm much more, I believe, English, but I do have Hungarian and Austrian and German. But yeah, no, I've always just found it interesting. It's an interesting place. And it's so wild how much it doesn't get along with France, or it didn't, for forever, because they're so similar, but I guess that kind of explains why. Similar but different. Ain't that the way? Ain't that just the way? Ooh, okay. You got your phone, and you put it in there. This is going to be a great little pie. And now I'm just going to start taking the parts that I've cut and start sticking them in there too. Wham. 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 Okay. And that looks like that was a goofy thing to do on my part. Needs to go a little bit more in here. Please no throw. I'm trying to remember what the other conspiracy theories they had were. They had some pretty good ones. She had some good ones. That was my favorite, though, because it was just like, okay. Her arguments were pretty valid. You could see, because they were well, he's learning German. I was learning German because it was during, I can't remember what book I was reading, but it might have been my intent was to read All Quiet on the Western Front in German, because I would like to read what the actual original version says, because I know that there have to be changes. That, and again, like the whole thing is their language is, it's very brutal. If you understand what certain words mean, you can put that's how I knew that said do not throw. If you understand the correlation of letters like wheat and like if you can start to understand, just the correlation, you can understand how the language works. And it's like the only one that like I can do that with, because it's one that our language is like based off of. So like French, there is no connection like through la na na la na 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 la na 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 na, apple, pineapple, just crazy. I'm not saying one language is better than the other. I think all are pretty inadequate. That's why I only speak with clown-to-clown communication. Got hot glue on my fingertips. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Pin, pineapple, apple pin. Yes. I was assuming, I was like, someone will know that I'm talking about pin, pineapple, apple pin. Yeah, I don't know, language is weird. It is 7. How the hell is it 7:36 already, guys? I'm sorry. Hopefully you all have enjoyed me like kind of fucking around with this, but I'm probably gonna, when I make coffee, I'll probably just come back and keep working on this. So, 'cause yeah, I kind of just want to build a little castle today, and I think I'm just gonna be streaming, working on this castle for a little bit. Time flies when you're having fun. It does. This is fun. I do like making this little castle. Oh no, that was glued in, but not very well. Oh man, Kelly's grandma's gonna be so mad. This doesn't look like it'd be fun to fight on at all. That, I cannot stress enough, is one of the things that has come into my mind, that I want to play Merkborg and Trench Crusade with either my mom or Kelly's mom or grandma. I want to try to introduce people that have never played a role-playing game or a tabletop game to like the most doom black metal games they've ever heard of. I think Kelly's grandma would be down with it. My mom would play along, but she would be upset. She'd be like, I really actually don't like that you enjoy this. I wish you didn't. When we went down to our local brewery this weekend, and on the way down we stopped by my mom's house because she lives nearby me, and we were telling her about, I was like, oh yeah, I've been working on this stuff for this game called Trench Crusade. She's like, well, that just sounds awful. And it's just like, yep, that is what I would have assumed you would say. And yeah, it is. You would not like it, mother. My mother. Seeing you maniacally work on hobby stuff first thing in the morning with my new cup of coffee. I mean, I like that. Like, and I appreciate the maniacally. Like, I don't get to watch myself, so I don't know what I'm doing looks like. But I feel like sometimes I do get in like just a mad scientist routine, and I'm just doing the thing, and that's kind of fun. Ooba dooba gooba gaba. Yeah, that's fun. It goes right in there. So yeah, this is essentially the same kind of like thing that I did with making the walker, which I keep looking at that on the. I finally picked up out of the floor, so it's now on my display cabinet over there, and its legs are just exploded, and it makes me sad. And I'm just like, I don't know. I've got so much in my head about GW and where I want to go with my hobby and like the kind of art that I like to make. And I don't know, I love the idea of continuing to work on it and having it be a thing in Visterion that's like, yeah, you know, the next Visterion event, it's still just wandering the table. I think that's where I'm leaning towards with it. At the same time, I feel like it definitely would have a home in Trench Crusade. I just need to think of how to use it. But again, I do, honestly, I would be happy with it staying in Visterion. I do think they are wanting to do more with that setting, so that'll probably be where I keep it. Yeah. All the glue in my hot glue gun. Tastes so good. I'm just kidding, guys. But what would you do? But like, what would you do if I just like ate all the hot glue in my hot glue gun? Call the doctor. Call the hospital. Ah, boy. 7:40. All right, I'm gonna go make some coffee, and then I'm going to mosey my way back down here and get back to gluing. So I'm probably gonna do that. You guys can hang out here for a couple minutes, or I can stop the stream and I can start back up. I don't know. I don't know what is more is better for you guys. I also don't know if this is. I'm just gonna be doing this, so I could get more work done and then start streaming more. But if people were wanting something to hang and do, that's gonna look so fun. Okay, yeah. I'm excited. Wait a minute. There was another part of this guy. Aha. You thought I'd forget about you, but I didn't. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm gonna pull my pants up, and then I'm gonna go make some coffee. Then I'm gonna come back. Blah. Blah. Here I am. I'll hang out. Thank you, Eric. Okay. Coffee is being made. I feel like I need to be coming down here and like working on it. Okay, I gotta keep putting foam in here while I'm gluing. I'm just like waiting for coffee to finish being made. I really like my intention with these guys. Just use them as tree roots, which is fun because they're called trees. But the supports from this They look very wiggly, very organic. And that has definitely been my intention, was I'm going to save all these because I like my prints not failing. Which, ooh boy, I got to tell you, this guy, yesterday, Greeblin was trying my patience because it's just like, hey, I think I'm spaghettiing. Do you want to check? And I'm like, you're not. You're not. Please, you have 15 more hours. Don't stop every 15 minutes to ask me about spaghetti. Which just spaghettiing is when it starts to not fully stick because there is a LiDAR and like a little AI living in there. He just keeps an eye on it, and it's just like, hey, I think it's messing up. You should check on it. But it's just like, it wasn't. So it just kept pausing it, and it won't keep doing it until I tell it, which is, it's a double-sided sword, because it's just like, it keeps me from, like, you know, ruining an entire print and all, finding out that it's messed up. However, it's pretty good, so it knows when it's like, it doesn't mess up often. So I've only had one time that I was like, okay, hold on, and that was because the file was fucked up. It wasn't Greeblin's fault. Coffee should be done.
Bum, 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 bum. All right, let's see what we got here. What you say, guys? Oh, step. Okay. Rick, did you end up getting your copy of Earthborn Rangers? Oh, step away for a second. No, I'm still waiting on it. Oh, that's all right. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I need to look more into that. I am a creep, and the other day, pretty much, just went to not follow, but look and see what is Johan backed on Kickstarter in the past X amount of months, because it's just like I feel like I absolutely would have bought whatever it was, and sure enough, I found a couple of games. Johan Nor being the guy who made Merkborg, or the designer, one of the guys, one of the Merkborg guys. Kickstarter. I'm trying to remember what the ones I just backed were, because they are sick, and I wanted to give them a shout out. But they had already closed, but I was able to back them late backing. Night Forlorn, which is yeah, I do think that the late back is still open. It is a, let me read. Storytelling game about a lone wanderer on a futile quest in a withering world, drawing much inspiration from games such as Dark Souls and Diablo. Through improvisation and collaboration, you will craft and narrate the story of the knight's struggles. You will shape and portray the world together and take turns portraying the knight as they explore it. As they journey through a forsaken and twisted city, the knight will face various monstrosities and hardships. By drawing playing cards from a deck, the story and the game world will unfold in unpredictable ways. So I checked out that, and then I also backed Where Fields Go Fallow, which got me really pumped, because it is about a tabletop RPG where ordinary villagers must face a war-born horror with nothing but courage, wit, and the tools of their trade. It says, when war leaves monsters behind, the war ended, the victors destroyed their enemies, but not everything was buried with them. Something that was built to kill, a nightmare shaped for war, untethered and untamed, has found your village. You were never meant to fight, but now you must. That sounds like a mini play one game. And those are, yeah, I think both of those gave me a very survival kind of vibe, that everyone's just kind of working on together, whereas the Night Forlorn is like everyone tells a story surrounding one character, but it's like a collaborative story building, where Fields Go Fallow is more of, I think, it gives me a lot of Kingdom Death vibes, just the concept of like, you're just the regular guy and you're not meant to survive here. And then the other one it's called Fame and Fable, a fantasy board game, a competitive monster battling quest combining hand management, strategy, and push your luck. It looks like if the designer of Rook made a game very much influenced by Adventure Time. And that is all I needed to be like, okay, here you go. It just looked like my vibe. And the way that it looks like it plays, it's gotten a bunch of awards already, so I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm trying to remember what got me even thinking about that the other day, but we were somewhere, and I was like, oh, we were getting our hair did. And I was waiting, so I was just like, well, I'm here. And I had to go to Pledge Manager for something to close out some backer kit. And while I was there, I was like, well, might as well throw more of my money at stuff, I suppose. I like games. I don't know nothing about computers, though. Okay. I'm thinking all in. Let's see. Yeah, the Adventure Time, like the Rook Adventure Time, I was like, okay, well that's just bonkers. I gotta have that. One of the characters was a cat. Like I was like, okay, well, now I feel like you're just pandering, but fine. Here's my money. I hate being pandered to unless it's something that I don't expect people to pander to me, and then I love being pandered to. I've been thinking about late backing the latest Mothership game found, but it would be deeply irresponsible. I have not looked at it. The latest one on GameFound. I don't know what's. Is it just another pressing of the main kit? Because I fucking love Mothership. It's one of my favorite role playing games. It is honestly, unfortunately, it's probably the game that. Now that's silly. I don't know what I was going to do with this, but that's pretty silly. That'll be handy for something, I'm sure. I'm sure that's why I kept it. I was going to say something. Mothership was the game that, if anything, it almost made me like. I mean, it kind of did. It kind of did make me like stop working on my own role-playing game stuff because I was trying to make a game like Mothership. I wanted to make a sci-fi horror game that pretty much was just like open sandbox. And then, sure enough, that's when I found out someone else also has the same kind of ideas. A lot of people like the same things, so that was really exciting. Because that means that I didn't have to do a lot of the legwork. I am all about making games. Like I've not made any myself of. Okay, it's a book of bounties and bounty hunters, as well as an official zine supplement and an official magazine. Well, shit. Okay. I'm gonna have to go look at that. Damn it. Positive note, I did already sign up. I do have a GameFound account, thanks to 1490 Doom. So that's good at least. That's something I don't have to do today. Mothership though, Mothership's great. I like any game that it's just like you're needing to keep track of Mothership Wage of Sin. That sounds dope. That sounds pretty cool. I'm also one of those guys though that like when you name your space Hulk like the Sin of Damnation or like stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, that's a cool name. I think that over the top names like that are really good for ships and stuff. So Wage of Sin is a great name for a module for Mothership. I think I might need to actually glue this in to the plastic so I can start to see what it is, because I'm starting to get the idea that I'm not actually needing to put more foam in. Don't get stuck. There we go. And you need to go down in there. Get down in there. I reckon. There's some sci-fi series out there where the names of ships are like super crazy, and the ships have like AI personalities. That's awesome. I love that. I love AI. I love AI that's like not good. It's just a good horror trope. That's definitely a part of Mothership that I really liked, is that you could have someone play a synthetic, but they're like, yeah, we'd recommend not. But that they do have the option there for people that are like, I want to play the synthetic. I think that they are definitely better as a NPC. Just because of the unknown. And that's just, again, that's another whole trope of androids. Like the android horror itself is not knowing who is one. But I think that definitely makes a big difference from a player standpoint, is that like, your teammate's a robot. That changes a lot of the dynamic, especially with how that game's supposed to work. It's solve, survive, save, as I want to say, is like solve, save, survive, solve, save is the three choices that you typically want to present your group with in the problems with Mothership. Something for them to solve, someone for them to save, or something for them to survive. So there's a lot more. Combat is just hyper brutal. I love anything where the game is just hyper brutal, and you have to think about your actions. I enjoy games like that. I don't know why. There's definitely something going on there, but oh boy, why did I do that? I'm getting super glue all over my hands. Come on. Oh. At this point, I'm just trying to fill in this hole with foam as much as I can. Just stuffing it in. I'm just kind of gluing. Not the best glue job, but it's in there. It's going to be covered in stuff. This is literally just filler. I just want it to have some actual something to it for building onto it. Get in there. Alright. Hot glue. Okay. Okay. Bump, bump, bump. Yeah, Mothership, I've ran a couple of sessions of that, but they were just quick little. We didn't really get into it to start because of always something going on, and then I think we had some changes in our lineup of who I was playing with at the time, so I never got back into that. Picking up from there, because that's when I pretty much started working on stuff for Visterion last year, is whenever I was like, oh, hey, I think I might start this up. I was like, well, never mind. I'm going to be working on that for a hot minute. Yeah. This is looking good. I'm excited. Having a great time. Okay, it's called The Culture, and the ships choose their own name, like just another victim of the ambient reality. That's rad as hell. That's awesome. Okay, so. Gray area, aka motherfucker. Yeah, I'm all about that. I love all the gray. I've not read the series, but I find the names fascinating. Culture was from Ian and Banks. Nice. Shit, I'm trying to think. There was something someone recommended to me the other day. I don't remember it. Damn. But it was on the same vein. of like Shadow of the Torturer. I don't remember what it was though. Or Book of the New Sun. It was in that kind of vibe. Someone was like, "Oh, if you like Book of the New Sun, you should read blank," and I was like, "Okay." And then I promptly forgot what it was. Yeah, that's looking fun. That looks fun. That looks like a castle I'd like to climb. His books are incredible. Definitely fit the Mothership vibe. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, Mothership's so sick. Alrighty. I'm thinking. How tall are you? You're about yay tall. Wah. Put a little poke right there. Cut it. Perhaps. I know that is definitely on it. It was not. This was. I mean, this was like in the past 2 days. They said, "Oh man, that sounds cool. I've never heard of that. Have you heard of this?" And I said, "No, that does sound cool too." But they are very different. House of Leaves, I've heard from many people, is so sick. I know my buddy Sam, I think, recommended that. But I love, like, anything like that. That's like absolutely, if I understand correctly, the book itself, it's another one of those where it blurs the line, and the book itself is written crazy, or it like is not. It's I know that the way that the book is, it's supposed to be like almost like in universe, referencing to how messed up the house is, if I understand correctly, which I'm all about. Man, I don't remember. It had something to do with the thing in the Book of the New Sun that if it eats you, like whatever it eats, it gains their memories. It's ergodic literature? Maybe? I'll have to look that up. What the heck? So, my wife lost her keys, and we tore apart the whole house trying to find them, and I think she found them in her car. It's just like, what the fuck? Ergodic literature? Works that require a reader to actively engage with the text beyond simple linear reading, demanding a non-trivial effort to traverse the narrative. Yes. I love ergodic everything. Not just lit, games. Yeah, that's yeah, ergodic. Okay, or ergodic, ergo. That sounds like it would be right, but that could just be me not using the right pronunciation. But yeah, that's things of that nature are my favorite things. Things that, in order to appreciate them the way that they are meant to be appreciated, you have to consume them in a way that is not normal or natural, or it's also like the way the book is written on the page is very interactive. Yes, like that kind of a concept. Like I guess it's just meta is the easiest word that comes to mind. Is just like, yeah, it's just real within itself, like the idea of the demons not being fully finished except for certain spots, because they're supposed to look like they're not done, but they are. It's I don't know. Yeah, the something that you have to look at or think about in a different way to understand it in the way that it was originally intended for you by the artist. That's always been my favorite. And I'm very anal about a lot of things, but like albums especially, I love. If it's a really good, if most of the bands that I love, it's just like I assume that an album is written in a specific order because I write albums in a specific order. Because when I make things, I make them and I present them in the way that I want them to be like perceived. So I love anytime artists play with that. But yeah, no, ergodic literature. That's a good word. It's a good word. I'm glad I know it now. All right, this is, I think, here is where we had that. Maybe. Yeah, I remember now. Oh, I remember. You're not tricking me. I remember everything. I also like the way the book is written on the page. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's also this one. Yeah, no, it's really, I dig that. So, this guy, that guy. When I was reading Age, I had to have a note. I had to solve puzzles. Yeah, puzzles. Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Very, yeah. That, yes, same kind of concept then. And I think that's actually how I was first introduced to that book. Was like, oh yeah, I think my friend Sam had a notebook that he was like keeping on the side, and he was like, I'm reading this book and it's nuts. But I've had to keep like tabs of stuff to like try and read this book. And the only other time that I'd ever heard someone like mention that kind of thing was in reference to Book of the New Sun. That they had a thing that they were running to just try and keep track of it because the narrative is so beyond convoluted. And not only that, but the dialect, the actual language is like not what you think it is. The words don't mean what we assume that they do in his world. Severian. Severian the Torturer. Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum-bum-bum-bum. Oh. I'm liking that. It's looking fun. It's looking good. Here's a little shot from the side. Little side shot. Bum 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 bum. Oh. Hot glue gun blues. How about the hot glue gun blues? It's when I just scald myself horribly with a hot glue gun. I love it. Uh-oh. I think I figured it out. Maybe. I was talking about the secrets of ventriloquism the other day, and that made me think of Legati. And I don't remember. I think it's Tyler. I think I was talking to Tyler about all of that. But man, Thomas Legati, you want to talk about some messed up horror? There's definitely some of his stuff has like gotten me to the point I'm like, I don't know if I can. I need a break. I'm a little too darked up. But any of that new good modern weird fiction, I'm all about that. Gotta make a square into a circle, so we gotta cut off all of its corners. And that's how you make a circle. fun thing, all these corners that we're cutting off, we'll be able to turn stuff back in there. But didn't make it enough of a circle. I need to get back into reading or listening to audiobooks while I'm working, but since I've started streaming more, I've actually not had a reason to be listening to it because I'm just talking. And then also, I was listening to a lot of Horse Heresy stuff or Warhammer related things. And now I find myself not really wanting to do that. But I do have a lot of other good books on my list. And again, I need to read House of Leaves, not listen to it, because I feel like that's skipping out on most of it. Discord when? I don't know. Is that something that you all would like? I absolutely, I can do that, if that is something that you all like. I, for the longest time, have been a guy that did not like Discord, but that's because I did not have a computer that I was on other than my work computer all day. And now that I do have a computer that I'm like sitting in front of all day long, I'm realizing Discord's pretty dope, actually. Like, I can talk to like everybody right here that I need to talk to. So I could do that. I could look into making a Discord. I can't even imagine a House of Leaves audiobook. That's what, when I was like, I think there is one, because I was like, oh, hey, House of Leaves. And then like, I think the first review was just like, what are you doing? But I might be misremembering, and it might be that I've seen someone ask on Reddit, like, is like the audiobook worth checking out? Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. Huh. I should. I never know. I'm such a hermit, so I'm like, I don't know what people are actively wanting. I do know that I am going to. I've been super like, trying to do all Trench Crusade all the time. So I've just been trying to do that as much as possible, but I am remembering that it's just like, yeah, I need to pick a RPG to do solo. And Dark Fort is definitely the one that Merkborg is based off. That's the one that I've got the most experience playing. There's a lot that could be really fun, and I saw someone made a solo board, and I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, I love Discord groups for sharing ideas with like-minded people. I'm thinking that's something I'll do that today. I'll make a Discord. Oh boy. It does seem like I don't know. Initially I was thinking a Patreon or a Discord, because they could do the same thing, because I think Patreon you can have a message board, but there's just a lot of people don't like that, and Discord's already in people's things, so that's why I was like, yeah, I think I might just stick with YouTube and Discord. And eventually I did make a Patreon, but I haven't done anything with it, because I don't want to even remotely think about like being like, hey, I'm gonna do blank for money, until I'm like, yeah, I can very much show that I'm like bringing something to the table. But once I am at that space, then I will look into doing that more. Also, I'm just kind of hoping that someone will be like, hey, we really like what you're doing. Would you like to work for us? And I would be like, I would love that. That's the goal. H.O. Wells' author's sister is the singer Poe, and one of the albums have references to H.O.L., including the author reading parts. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like a companion piece to the book. My friend who raved about the book to me was telling me all about it. That's awesome. Poe. I've not heard of Poe. Almost. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Wait a minute. Nope. That is still nowhere, nothing like John Cena. This looks nothing like John Cena. I'm over here trying to make a castle, and I'm like, yeah, my castle looks just like John Cena, everybody. Come check it out. Doesn't look anything like him. Looks like a castle. You idiot. That's what they keep saying. John Cena. John Cena from the Ramparts! Oh, fuck. I'm so excited about that. See, it's that kind of thing. Like, 1490 Doom is the kind of game that, like, my wife and I can 100% fuck with. Like, it is horrible and grim, but there's just something really fun about, like, or just fucking John Cena and people from the Ramparts. Like, which, again, that was a huge part of my Adepticon this year, was fucking bringing it from the high ropes with my boy Bryce in Rat King. Just that board, the board that we played on was so fucking big. I mean, it was seriously like this big. So it was like for the model, it's an insane height. But yeah, just like we started the whole just like fucking from the top ropes with our giant rat, just dropping dropping God's elbow, essentially, is what Bryce and I were like, let's just drop God's elbow. Just this giant fucking Rat King just jumping off and like landing, just suplexing the shit out of like this itty bitty like rat slave that's like 12 stories down and then just turning into a crater. And that's Rat King. I don't remember much else about Rat King. I was really tired. I just remember that I kept getting so pumped about everybody jumping off of this crazy tall building. Like, because as soon as Mom was like, oh yeah, you can jump. Like, we were like, oh, that's what we're gonna do. Like, fuck using climbing or ladders. And then when it was like, yeah, it's a 50-50 chance that you die, we all loved it. And then like, they started dying and I'm still loving it. And everybody else is like, man, this is kind of bad. I'm like, no. If anything, it should be like a 75% chance that you die. Like, I like playing a game where I'm very aware that my guy is he's just the trash man. Because then if he survives, it's not that I want him to die. I want that 25. That's the thing that I love about games that just absolutely smash your character. I cannot stress enough. It's not that I like to play games that are, sick and like messed up because I like watching my characters get mauled and maimed. I like having something for my character to overcome. And I don't ever feel like I overcome things if it's just like, oh yeah, this let me win, or oh, it let me do that. I don't know. There's definitely something I'm very aware that I've got a fuck ton of masochistic tendencies, but I very much I like when things are difficult. I guess because it makes me think, it makes me try. So I enjoy games like that too. That's why I like the Darker Souls. Now cheese. Alrighty. Which I did start playing Bloodborne again. Which I realized, I don't know how I got on the subject of the reward is sweeter. Yeah, dude. Castle, you can't see me. You can't see me. Ric Flair's the one that goes, woo! Right? I never watched wrestling, so like, now my wife did, like, which is the thing that I love. Between the two of us, you would assume that like I don't know, maybe I do put off City Boy vibes. I don't know. But I guess I'd probably put off a lot of real soft City Boy vibes. I don't like doing any hay baling or things like that. I don't know if like people who work on farms. I assume nobody that works on a farm enjoys hay baling. Yeah, that was the nature boy or the Flair's the whoa guy. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with him just from pop culture, and of course I know Macho Man Randy Savage. Rest in peace. Oh yeah, brother. I love a good Hogan every now and then, but he does a lot of things I don't love these days. A lot of people do. John Cena seems like a good dude. He seems like a nice human being, based on what I've read. Bum, bum, bum. Alrighty. Almost. It's almost there. Uh-oh. Bum, 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 bum. Wait a minute. I'm gonna have to cut all that off anyway. What am I doing? What am I even doing with my life? I'm sitting around making a castle for ants. Bum, bum, bum. Just the most deflated John Cena. Bum, bum. Is that when you John Cena someone from the ramparts in 1490 Doom so your other friends can survive? Like you just knock someone off a ladder. It's kind of savage. Oh yeah. Now that is what I call a castle. Now that's what I call 1490 Doom. I've seen Flair and that's wonderful. Cena having a heel turn in the year of our Lord 2025 is hilarious. I don't watch, but the absolute Twitter meltdown kind of rules. I don't know what he's done recently. I knew that having a heel turn. I mean, he was really big on like Make-A-Wish Foundation, that kind of stuff. I think he was like the guy who's done more of the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff than anybody else, which is cool. I respect that a lot. I guess that's the thing that like I can appreciate when someone you can give money. He's a bad guy now? Fuck me. Okay. Wait. Like he's a bad guy character or he's like a bad guy? Like I mean there's a lot of options. Kanye. Kanye is kind of a bad guy now. I think I did in the Ring character. Okay, well that's wonderful. They making fun of people going along with it. You can't see me pretending he's in gold. It's so funny. Okay, good. Okay, I love that. That's good. As long as he's just like a piece of shit in the ring, not like outside, then I was actually about to be legitimately kind of saddened. So I was like, man, he was actually someone that like I don't have like very much information of, but I knew he was like a decent fucking human, and there are not that many left. These days, it seems like, as far as like who have a lot of money, and that's I can't stress enough. That was what I was going to get at. Was the biggest thing I think when I assume that someone's like, oh yeah, they're rich and they are a good person or they're not a piece of shit. It's not because they throw money. It's like the Make-A-Wish shit. Like his time. Like if you use your time to do something, as opposed to like just, oh, I paid money. I paid, and yep, they can do whatever they need with the money. Like. And I understand that at one point in time I had the same kind of concepts where I want to get it done. It doesn't matter how it's done. I've worked, so I want to do this. But I personally, I don't get anything from like giving someone money. If I make someone a gift, I get a lot out of that. And I just kind of look at it the same way. I'm not trying to say if you're doing Possum, Eric, if you guys are out there doing your Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff, be more like John Cena and I. That's all I'm saying. I don't do them. So I guess be more like John Cena and I would be keep doing what you're doing. He does a lot. I don't do anything. I just build castles and throw people off the ramparts. Bum, bum, bum. But it would be like a bagpipe, and then I would throw you off the ramparts. Except I'm not a very big guy. I'm not a big tough guy. don't know if I can really throw anybody off a rampart. Children. I can throw children off the rampart. I'm funny. Alright. Man. Yep, this sure is a castle, alright. I can see it. I can see it in my visual eye and my mind eye. Now this one is going to be silly because... Also, I'll just give you guys a little peep from the side. It's going to look very castle-ish. I think us showing up to sick kids' hospital beds is probably frowned upon. I cannot stress enough that, yeah, I want to be the change that... I want my community to be the change that I want to see in the world. There is a part of me that does want these things to happen. It's just like, well, that would be funny. It's just like, why did Possum go to try to Patch Adams the children? It's just like, I didn't say it to do that. I didn't say not to do that, and I might have encouraged it in a roundabout way. Don't Patch Adams children. Don't sad Adams children either. Like, that's the other... my wife had never seen... I don't know if she's still seen Patch Adams. I don't remember if we watched Patch Adams yet because my wife loves Robin Williams. So, of course, that's a rough one after his death. And then I'm pretty sure Sean, my old roommate, and I are the ones that said Patch Adams. If it wasn't Sean and I, Eli told me to. That has been said a lot. That's me. I'm a good leader. And I have good ideas. And everybody loves them. Not everybody. No, not everybody. Oh no, son. Look at all this foam. So this probably would have been smarter, but we're going to do it on this one. I'm just going to cut the circle. I'm just kidding. There's not a circle anymore because that side is broken. But this side will be smarter. Oh, I did remember that, speaking of things that... It's like, hey, is that something you want to talk about? Maybe. I the other day had a conversation. There is a thing that Kanye has said. And yeah, I know. I'm playing with fire and I'm very aware. Everyone chant, it's a cult. It's a cult. No! I can't stress enough. My wife constantly watches video. Like in the background, I am constantly listening to cults be made, murders be solved, just the most grisly things, and I'm just like, God, okay, I've listened enough now that I'm like, I need to be real careful about what I say, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to start a group with a bunch of like similar ideas, and it's just like, I mean, technically it would be a cult, it's not a religion, it's just, I'm trying to do good with my what I'm saying out there, and it's just like, the other day I was like, man, I already realized, I didn't even think like, the Book of Eli, it's already there, you just gotta pick it up, it's just like, it's a slippery slope where it turns into a bit and then being really afraid for like my actual like safety because like people are really crazy and like you guys, I don't expect Eric and Possum and Tyler to do anything crazy, but other people it's just like they might think that I'm actually trying to start a cult and they don't understand that this is a bit or it's a joke or the irony of it, that it's just like there is a lot of, I don't know if it's irony, but it's that's something to think about. When you really get into it as a Satanist, doing something because you think it is the right thing to do, you could technically get tax exemptions with that. That's when it gets ugly because it's like, oh yeah, Merkborg and Trench Crusade have a lot of very satanic themes, and it's just like, okay, well, are those quote-unquote satanic games? And it's just like, I don't know, not technically, but technically yes, because they are about you, the player. They are about you having fun in your way and not letting someone else dictate that to you. So yes, it is very inclusive. So maybe satanic. It's, but they've already been very clear that it's not, and that is exactly where I am from with my. I like to joke. I'll joke about like, oh yeah, starting a cult, but it's just like there's nothing more to it other than it's a group of people that like the things that I say and think I'm funny. But I don't want anyone to actually value like I'm doing this because he told me to do it like a cult leader. Mine are much more like, hey, be a good person and paint your models like this. I like to paint mine like this. Satanic Panic 2.0. That's the thing is the part of me that fell in love with Merkborg the second I opened it and I saw the first pages, is that it's the part of me that loves Trench Crusade, that like loves to tell my mom like, oh yeah, I'm doing blank, just because I know she hates it. But it is the fact that Merkborg, they were like, I want to make the game that they thought D&D was, like the true Satanic Panic. Also, if you start a religion, your home can truly become a parsonage. See, Eric, don't encourage it, because the bits only get funnier. The Book of Eli, I could have a parsonage. And my friend Alan, briefly, when he got really into farming and stuff, and at one point in time, he was just like, hey, if we moved out here and we set up a farming community and then we did blank, technically our land would be non-taxable because it's the church's land. So as long as it's the church and blah, 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 in our commune, and his dad, who is like Canadian and had just recently gotten his citizenship, is sitting at the other end of the table reading the paper, and he goes, Alan, that's treason. And that's one of my favorite quotes from my neighbor is, Alan, that's treason. He was essentially the pitch is, and I don't know enough about it to understand where the line of nope, that's just their church or their cult, and treason. I don't know where the line is. I think maybe it's treason if you're doing it and it's not actually a religious thing. If like you are intentionally making a new self-state that is not governed by your religious creed, within inside of a country that already exists. I think that is why it was considered treasonous, what he was doing. But it was just a joke. It was just a bit. Don't start cults. Don't do treason. Well, unless it's the dope shit. Don't put that on a shirt either. I don't remember. There was something that it was just like, man, that's a quote. One of you all quoted it, and I was just like, fuck, I want that on a shirt. That would be good. Man, oh man. All this foam. What am I gonna... These came, I just remembered. This came, you could fly in on a high wire. I love that so much. That's, yeah, I love it. I love it. See, it's that kind of stuff. That would be funny. Everyone would love it. It's fun for the whole family. I fly in, do some tricks, talk about space ghosts. Not the show, just like ghosts that live in space. And then I'll leave. Yeah, his religious teachings, there's a lot about space ghosts, just ghosts out in space. He doesn't really give you an idea of where he stands on them, but they're mentioned a lot. I just know that there's ghosts out there. I don't know if they're good or bad. I have to wait until I'm at a higher tier of knowledge, and then you'll understand if the ghosts are good or bad. You'll never know. It's a Ponzi scheme. Actually, I don't think it would be a Ponzi scheme. I'm not sure the difference between a Ponzi scheme off the top of my head and the typical Scientology thing. What is the pyramid? Yeah, pyramid, not Ponzi. Ponzi, I think, is the insurance shit. I don't remember. I'm not doing any schemes. I'm not starting a cult either, guys. I'm just building a castle. We're trying to get a cult to happen. No, but also Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You'd be like SpongeBob, dressed up as a wizard. Dressed as a wizard. Yes! I'm a goofy Kubo! Rock! I love the SpongeBob movie. When he comes in, saves the day, melts all the plankton bucket helmets. The chum bucket helmet. Bald! Bald! Yeah, my wife and I could quote the majority of that movie. Hey, is that King Gallons? We could quote the majority of SpongeBob. Seasons 1 through, I don't know, whenever it stopped being good. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Wait, can you do a wrestling mega church where you do a coast to coast to a space coast? Space Ghost, where you do a coast to coast to a space ghost? I mean, I really can't imagine any of the other religions were like, nah, that sounds too fucking goofy. I don't mean to be dunking on anybody's beliefs, but I'm going to throw out right now that if anybody has a problem with my religion having wrestling being done in our megachurch, I don't think this is the right fit for you. I don't think you're about our life, because that's a very key. The wrestling in the megachurch is a very big part of our religious beliefs, if I had to guess, based on this moment. Cats are also really highly regarded. That's just a thing. I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play in the cult space anymore. This is a slippery slope, guys. I'll make a Discord. I'm not doing the cult. I can't help but feel like my wife is mildly afraid every time I make the joke, and that's because she watches the shows where like people are like, "Oh yeah, he started a cult," and she's like, "Yeah, no, he started a cult, dude. It's not fun. It's pretty messed up, Tony." Oh my goodness. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? What do we think about that? Bum ba-dum. Boop-a-doo-boop. Bah. Yeah, that looks pretty good. The moment a religion points out the absurdity of another religion, the whole thing falls apart. Cult space is like subspace, but with like crazy religious connotations. It's kind of like subspace, but it's just really, really crazy religious cultish. I like it. Man, this castle's coming along. I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. We've got a lot of good ideas cooking up. Subspace for Transmuting Guild. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. That's a heavy vibe. That's a heavy vibe. Subspace Transferring Guild. Now when you say subspace, what do you guys mean by sub? You mean like submissive space? I'm assuming that's what it is, but I don't want to make assumptions. I'm assuming. That would seem right. I was talking about the dom sub. Okay, yes, that's what I assumed. Okay, I figured that was the case. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to start talking about things and people would be like, "That is not what we were talking about, dude." I mean submarine, but submissive works now that you mention it.
subspace for transmitting guild. I do like thinking about that as a submarine space. I also like that Eric's been on submarines. Not to put Eric on blast, but I get pumped when anyone's like, I've been in a submarine, because I've never been in a submarine. I've been in a shuttle now, because I went to the one in Texas, but it wasn't like in space. It was just on the ground, on top of the plane. Lame. I didn't get to go to space like Katy Perry and change my life. I'll never think the same again. I've broken all of everything that held me back. It was all gravity, man. No, submarines are just really cool. I like how long that like we've had them, and I like how fucking scary they are. Like it's just spaceship, but underwater, so it's just way scarier. But hey, metaphysical space realm for transmitting guild ain't far off, probably. Yeah, subspace. I assume that's all. I could talk about that kind of community and concepts that come from that kind of community all day. In fact, I like to reappropriate things from the BDSM community. My sign off, Sit Pretty, is a reference to, and it is not to, if you guys don't want to get into this, we can have a real wild philosophical talk today, but I love reappropriating things from other places, and like the dom sub kind of thing, that there's a lot. I mean, and that really goes back to the entire thing with, I think I ranted on that in when I talk about my demons, is dominance and submission like are the primary. I am acutely aware. Okay, I didn't know if the Sit Pretty, if anyone knew that was a reference to anything or not. But it's not in the way that I think most people would probably take it as. So Sit Pretty, a lot of people use that as sitting pretty, like living high on the hog. So in like dom and sub like relationships, obviously one person is the more dominant, one person is the more submissive. Shit, where was I going with this? I already lost it. Sit Pretty. When you look into certain aspects of that lifestyle, there are different words that mean different things. It is a ocean of, hey, I thought there was only this one thing going on. No, it is more diverse than you could possibly ever imagine. However, because of all the things that are fucked up about people and the things that people are into, and I'm not saying like fucked up like you shouldn't be into that. Hey, dude, as long as everyone's cool, I'm down with whatever. Like, you do you. As long as everyone is happy and safe. Like, one of the things that I found very interesting, though, in looking into just when you're on the internet, you just find weird shit. But I thought a lot about, on a particular note, and I have on the back of my car, I have a sticker that says "Sit Pretty, Good Kitten." So today's stream, I'm going to build a castle and talk about kitten play. There are all kinds of variants of that dom-sub relationship. And one that I found that I very much was interested in was kitten play, but not from a, like, oh, I'm into people being into cats. I was curious about it because it does not make any, like, I'm not into, that's not my thing. I like cat ears. I think they're cute. That's the extent. Like, I'm not into anybody pretending to be a cat. I have cats. I don't want that. I like people being who they are. And that's what I support. And the thing that I pulled out of all of this was, in that community, dogs and cats are often referenced for one or the other
sexes, genders, whichever you're going to refer to them in the bedroom, whatever. But typically, kittens, cats are a feminine like comparison, whereas dogs are male, and that goes back. RWS is a furry, confirmed. I am not a furry. I don't relate. I don't relate to being furry. I do love Nico ears though, and I've talked about that openly. I love little cat ears. They're just cute. There's not. It's not like, oh yeah. It's more just like, those are fun. I like that. They make me happy. But the whole thing came down to, the more and more I looked into all of that stuff, it wasn't a like, oh man, I'm trying to find, like, I'm just really into this stuff. An understanding of, like, I guess what people get out of that. That's good. What people get out of that, and what I mean by that is, what would make someone want to, like, kind of be like a cat or be like a dog. And then you look further into it, or I looked further into it, when you are training an actual dog. Sit pretty does not mean the same thing when you say it to a dog and when you say it to a cat. They are two different tasks that you are asking the animal to do. And I think that is very interesting, and it just summarizes the differences that I see, at least, between the two of them. When you tell a dog to sit pretty, you are wanting it to stand on its back legs and put its hands up and do a little trick for you. When you tell a cat to sit pretty, it's just them sitting up straight and just sitting up straight. And I find that very interesting. And I liked a lot being able to see that transfer from the animal training to, like, the psychological, like, realm of, like, people. Like, it's the same kind of concept, like, when you look at how that kind of stuff typically goes. Like, in kitten play, sit pretty, it's the same thing. It's essentially, you're telling the person to sit up straight, and, like, it's essentially the cat sitting straight, proud, chest up, just proud. Proud to be who they are. A cat proud, sitting how they are. A cat sits pretty. And that's where I took that from. So when I say sit pretty, it is be fucking proud of who you are. And then on the back of my car, it just says good kitten, which I love cats. But too, also, a kitten is a slang term for any feminine person. It was used for young girls that were dating older guys. It was used for younger women, attractive women, effeminate men, anyone that is not masculine, and just being raised in a household of all women. Like, I have had very little, like, male role models. Like, people live with me. Like, my roommate Sean was the first guy I've lived with ever. He's the only other person I've lived with other than my wife, and my family, like my mom and sister. So I'm very pro women's rights, very pro. The whole thing came down to saying sit pretty it's reappropriating something that was, kind of viewed in, like, a sexual way, but it's not that. Like, I don't mean that in sexual. I mean in a very, be proud of who you are, hold your chest up, sit pretty. Like, and then the good kitten was just keeping you, like, no matter who you are. Just because, and that is, again, specifically, lots of women are, have issues. Lots of guys have issues. Everybody has issues. I want to make people feel safe, to be who they are. Sorry if that was a really heavy discussion there, guys, or if you learned anything about me you didn't want to learn. I am not a furry, though. I have nothing against furries. I don't relate to myself enough to be a furry, I don't think, sadly. And the chat has gone quiet. And the watchers have all left. All of my subscribers are gone. And now all of my subscribers have increased, and it's just a furry channel. Confirmed. Battletech has surgically created cat people. So if you ever pick up back, I got. Is that
Is that like really a thing? Because yeah, that actually is awesome. Again, I'm not like into cat people. I like cat ears. I like cats. I like cats. That's really it. At the end of the day, man, I'm excited about this. My Little Pony mothership. Let's go. Ooh. I hate that a joke came to my mind the moment I read that. Nobody look it up. It's Space Clop. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It's My Little Pony mothership. Just Space Clop. Which is just one of the worst fucking holes in the internet possible. I hate 4chan sometimes. I hate the internet and myself sometimes. Yeah, man, this castle's gonna be good. What are you doing on there? You silly. Oh yeah. It was on there because I needed to fill this up. I remember now. This was goofy. The Magistracy of Canopus, a female-ran periphery state, whose primary business on is various forms of entertainment. That's fun. Canopus. Battletech's pretty cool. I love big mechs. Oh no, my hot glue. Yeah, also, I'm not trying to be a creep, just telling people, like, let me tell you guys about BDSM stuff. It's more of just if it gets brought up, I'll talk to it. I'll talk about that. That, and also, don't want people to think I'm being creepy, tell them to sit pretty, or mean anything weird like that. I'm not. Just be proud of who you are. But I think the reappropriation of taking concepts that are used for other things and then integrating them in ways that are more positive, I'm always down with that. Or just niche stuff. That's the rant. Man, cutting a whole bunch of souls, and nothing says they can't hop in a giant robot and commit war crimes. Some folks see cosmetic surgery to add feeling features. Hey, I mean, now, I don't know, maybe I am a furry thing, because it's like if I could have cat ears, maybe I would. It'd be fun. Look weird though. Maybe. RWS for confirm. Nothing. Yeah. I've always loved Mad Cat. That's been my favorite, like, Battletech mech for forever. Which that's, I think, Clans is when that got introduced. I've not followed Mech Warrior or Battletech, like, actively ever. I've always loved, like, Mech Warrior, but I've never followed these, like, the lore, the story, anything beyond just playing games. But they were all sick. I played the Mech Assault that came out for the, I think it was the original Xbox. When that came out, I played that game so much. It was so good. Super destructive environments. It's a Timberwolf. Okay. I see where we're at. And I understand where you're coming from. I think we'll just have to agree to disagree. It's only ever been a Mad Cat to me, just because that was the very first, was that Mech Warrior 2 for, like, Sega Genesis? Had the Mad Cat on the front, but I do understand that, like, the Timberwolf, it's the same thing, two different names, and I love that. That's good. Ba-da. Ba-ba-ba. Yeah.
Man, I wonder if that coffee's still good. It is, probably. Oh, yeah. That's great. That's a great cup of Job. Man, oh, man. One thing that this is something inner sphere slur. Something. Holy shit, that just made me think of, when I was playing, Mech Warrior 5, I think Mercenaries is the one, the last one I played. But the map of like the sectors and everything that you can go to is bonkers, and the names of half the sectors are just crazy. But one of them, like most of the cities in my state were like present. I was like, this is crazy. Why are they named that? And then I figured it was probably like just colonialism, which is pretty funny, because that's absolutely probably what they would do. Probably what they will do if we ever start moving in space. Can't talk too much about that though, when Margot will come down. She's a spaceman. I'm thinking a nice round shape like that. Yeah, they do that. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yesterday, apparently y'all had a big VTech tournament out there a bit ago. Brawl in the bluegrass. That, I wonder where it was. It was probably... I don't think it was at Hard Knocks, but Hard Knocks is like the biggest place to play that I can think of in Kentucky. Like, we've got a bigger area in the back than any of the other stores I've ever seen. Lexington? Ah, okay. That would have been my other guess. I was going to say, I didn't hear about it being here. My bet would be Lexington. That's, yeah. Lexington, Louisville, or E-Town or Bowling Green would be the only four cities that I would imagine. Lexington would be the one that I was like, I didn't hear about it here. Old Lexington. That's where they got lots of horses. Bourbon. And Battletech. Something with an L. Yeah, Lexington. It's fancy. It's posh. Oh, so posh. I'm just going to start stuffing this in there now. Yeah. But I need more glue. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I remembered I never said my thought about Trench Crusade. Yesterday I was getting real pumped because I was looking at the rules for the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, and I saw that one of them is for the wretched. If they ever... That wasn't burned. That one burned. One of the rules for the wretched is if they ever manage to kill an elite, they are automatically removed from your roster because they earned their freedom, which is it's in reference to the first battle in heaven, when angels' blood ran red on the firmament. Essentially, it's just like, yeah, if you're able to kill a member, like an archangel, essentially someone like worthy of heaven's notice, like you buy your freedom from hell. I was like, that's pretty fucking rad. Then you do lose the model though, but I like that it's just like it's just narrative. That's really cool.
took a field trip to Ironland Metals. To buy metal balls by weight.
That's wild. That's cool. Oh yeah. Now that's what I call castle. Or parapet. Well, that's what I call parapet. 1490. 1491. $14.90 groom. It's just like a big hair. $14.90 groom. It's just a cat, and I'm just brushing it. Okay, some of this has got to come out, I think. You, maybe. Get back in there. Oh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Making it work, doing the thing. I don't know, that might be too much in there. No, I mean, that looks pretty good. I'm good with that. I think I just need to maybe cut off the bottom. Maybe. Honestly, maybe not. Just yeah. Do you need some foam in there to hold you up? I think you do. Yeah. There we go. Pushing in foam. So, any requests for channels for a Discord? Or, I don't know, I've never done set up a Discord before, so I'm like, You can do voting and stuff in Discords. I'm pretty sure. That would be fun. I would love a way for people to be like, hey, I'd like to watch you work on blank. So I don't have to guess. But I would also like to kind of just watch me work on whatever I'm wanting to work on. Man, look at all this castle. I'm sorry, that probably clipped. Alrighty, so yeah. Wait a minute. That was over here. Yeah, that's good. This is looking good. I'm pretty stoked. Building a castle. Essay. Gonna write an essay. That's what I say. Yeah. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Patrick noises in the background. All stream. I remember now. I was telling Kelly about, we were talking about the rules of 1490. And then we said that it was essentially, it's the episode of SpongeBob when it's when they get lost in the kelp forest, but in the very beginning of it, Patrick and SpongeBob are up inside this treehouse and yelling like things down at Squidward while he rides his bike to work. And they're like, "Oh, look, it's Squidward. Where is he going? To work?" And I think they're using W's instead of like their first letters. So I fucked that up. But anyway, they tell him that he won't fit in the club. And then he gets up there and he fights his way in. And it's literally, he's stuck in there. And it's just like them all sandwiched in this box. And he goes, "Well, this is stupid." And then SpongeBob goes, "We've been stuck up here for 3 days." But yeah, they're like, "Squidward, we told you, you won't fit in." I love that episode. But that's essentially what this game is Squidward trying to get in, and then you won't fit in. And then you throw him off the battlements. Yeah. I'm happy with this shape. This is going to be good. And have our main little castle thing there. Again, it will only be that tall, though. Yeah. Fun. I don't think I get up on that. No, I probably like that-ish. Maybe. Wham, wham, wham. Put a little cut right there. Then we're probably going to go... This is some thicker plastic. So... I'm gonna have to go blow my nose. Oh, I stepped on foam. Get back. Go blow my nose. Oh. Yeah. All right. Also, I did not say anything. Incorporating the hooks might be a fun mechanic. Where are the hooks? With their V's and shapes and their beguiling colors. I love that. I love SpongeBob. The hooks! The hooks, boys! Oh, I'm too late. I wasn't fast enough. I couldn't stop them. All right. Oh no, gotta use this on us all. Pretty much just getting through the initial spot is the issue. Now, pretty much just have to score. The hooks. The hooks. The hooks, me boy. And do you know what happens when you don't get off? Gift shops worse. Is there a Mrs. Puff? She doesn't like to talk about it. Yeah, Mr. Krabs is all about Mrs. Puff. That guy's creepy. But I guess he's not creepy. He's just a lonely old crustacean. I don't think crabs mate for life. Lobsters do, supposedly. Incorporating the hooks. That'd be fun. Okay. Beware the hooks. Man. Yeah, like traps. Just a bunch of traps. Just a bunch of hooks just hanging. Just, oh, don't touch those hooks. I'm not gonna cut like that in my lap. I have already resigned myself that you guys are probably gonna watch me get hurt. I'm very much not wanting you guys to watch me stab myself in the groin with a hobby knife. That's like number one on my list if I don't want that one. There we go. Ta-da! And just look at that. Would you look at the fit? Have you ever seen a more beautiful fit? I know I haven't. I know I haven't, Becky. Where the fuck is Becky? And we're just going to clip a little bit more down here. That didn't fit perfect. Oh no. Okay. Bum, ba, bum. And this castle's name is John Cena. Yeah, I'm happy with this. This is fun. This looks like a fun castle to bring your friends to and throw them to their deaths. Brother. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm loving it. So now we just gotta fill this up with foam. Do I really want to, though? I don't know if I have any. I don't think I have any expanding foam. I normally don't use expanding foam because you don't have control over it. I'd be okay with this though. This cup has a lot more. This does not have much actual to it. So I wanted to use the foam to give it actual support. Whereas this, I don't think I actually even need. I'm not gonna put foam in there. They're not. This is not gonna give way. This will though. That one's gonna have to have foam. The hooks. Man, I gotta quit quitting SpongeBob. So games. Switch to games. I am planning on making 1940 Doom board, obviously. Trench Crusade is the big one that I am making. Oh, I guess I haven't talked about that. So my plan for Trench Crusade, I guess I've become a lot more firm in how I want to do it. And I'm really excited about this because it's like, oh, hey, this is a good example of, hey, this is how I play games. I get really obsessed. With Warhammer, I spent an obscene amount of time mapping out an entire sector of space called the Totrata sector, and it consisted of, I want to say 9 subsectors. Each subsector has at least four or five solar systems, planetary systems in them, and then each of those, has worlds. And I built all of that space and populated planets. I came up with all of their, how many people live there, the type of planet it was, the weight, how long are its days, how long are its hours, how typical summers. I spent an obscene amount of time coming up with a sandbox in which my gaming group could play in, so we could do anything that we wanted, and it would not impact the actual overarching story of Warhammer 40,000, because that is very important to me, is to keep things within a reasonable scale. Scale is just reason in my head, just reasoning made manifest. It's why I find Star Wars kind of silly. When you really think about it, it's just yep, the like 5 most badass people in the galaxy in a fucking like trash ship flying around together by chance. It's just, it's why I don't like when people are like, he worships the devil, he's gonna summon Satan and talk to him. It's like, Satan's got shit to do today, dog. Maybe he'll talk to like Beelzebub's second cousin, twice removed, intern. Maybe. That kind of a thing. So, my thoughts about that and why I'm bringing that up are, for Trench Crusade, I've got all these little houses, and I've also been working on the initial stuff that I was supposed to be doing Trench Crusade with, which was the Warcry terrain. And absolutely still doing that. I'm still working on them. Working on them at the same time, separate kind of. That glue's real hot. So the idea is to have a very large chunk of space, and I'm probably going to pick France, because World War I France is like, France and World War I are just very fascinating to me, especially just given the way that especially America like tends to like pretend or view France and how they handled things in World War II is very silly to me. It's a very non-European understanding of the whole situation. The fact that like the French surrendered, it's just like, having spoken to a Frenchman about this, it's just I understood, and hearing it come from their, from them, just like, oh yeah, no, we didn't have a choice. It was, you're gonna do this, or we're going to kill you, and then kill your wives and children in front of you. And sorry, do that first, and then we're gonna kill you, or you can just surrender. And it was like they had not even recovered from the First World War, but they are the reason that pretty much the first one went on as long as it did. France just super defense. They are like the hardest defense of all time. Verdun is just gets me too pumped. So Robert Neville, just Gandalf everyone so hard. Alrighty. So I'm thinking that I'm going to pick that. Along those lines, I did pick up the heads that I've shown before, that I printed some, but they are made to look more like the helmets that the French wore in World War I, as well as their little gas masks and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. But the plan is to make a large, almost, I mean, it'll be cartography, but I'm going to make a large map. And I want to be able to zoom in, essentially, on this scaled map. And each one of these like little zooms that I can do will be like, okay, here's the board. And I want the whole area to change over the course of the campaign. So if buildings are destroyed, marking it down, that kind of a thing, like as the game plays. And one of the things I've been really excited about, I want to say it was Avignon, which is where I was going to probably pick. But there is one of the churches, like the big cities, it just explodes for no reason. I want to say it's Avignon, but I have come up with a pretty cool idea for a hell mouth, essentially, opening up, and how to kind of design it using the ruins that I had made for Vestarian. I've got a lot of really good idea with those. Using them as the ruins for the church, essentially sitting on top of the Warcry stuff. So it looks like the Warcry ruins will be like a prison or holding cells underneath the church. So I'm excited. It'll, of course, when I show a picture of what I'm talking about, it will be more useful than just talking about it. But I've been doing a lot of prepping and a lot of planning outside of just printing. So I'm excited to show that as it gets more close to the time of doing the paperwork sides of things. That's as soon as I get enough done to where I can like play these games like reasonably well. I mean, I can switch to, okay, hey, we're gonna play a game today, that kind of thing. Which I'm gonna put that knife down instead of trying to do that with it in my hand because I don't want to stab myself on the face live or otherwise. But yeah. Come on. This is very similar to how I made the arms and legs for the Child Inverted. It is this kind of foam. This closed cell packing foam, which also I believe was from my printers. I believe. That's why I had a whole bunch of it. It's always good to save your foam. You never know when you're going to need it. Alright. Yeah, look at that. That is so fun. Good morning. Good morning, Timothy. How are you? Gorgeous. I try. Actually, I put forth very low effort. I just kind of get up and come downstairs and try to make sure I'm wearing appropriate clothing. Oh no. Okay. So yeah. I'm doing what you working on. I am working on a castle for 1490 Doom. I'm making my little layout. And I'm getting ready to finish. You have come in at the pretty much we're at the finished getting the the overall shape locked in, making it out of a bunch of flower pots and a cup. That's a Florida cup, on vacation kind of cup. That's what that is. So, oh hell yeah! So this is going to be the top where we're all trying to get to, and yeah, it's just on little lazy Susan. I'm gonna put, that should be 10, it's 9.5, so yeah, I will put a 4 on there. Got to work on a warband for 1490. I'm very excited. I've got a bunch printed, and I've been thinking also of ideas. Now that I've talked to Cody about the beekeeper, it's gonna be really hard to not only play a beekeeper and have his 2 assistants with him, and that's just what I play for 1490 is a beekeeper. But I do also, there's so many other really fun ideas. I don't know, it's a really, really fun little world. I am thinking hot glue, yeah, hot glue on that guy, into there. And then I will start probably be filler time. Start actually using some of the Red Devil vinyl filler that I've got. That, I'm loving that. That is so good. Yes. Boop, 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 boop. Smear a little bit of blue down there. Man, oh man. I need another blue stick. Bum, ba, bum. Yeah, we covered a lot of ground earlier. John Cena's been covered heavily. We got into some furry shit, cult stuff. We've covered the gamut today. Discords have been discussed. me hating Discord had been discussed, has always been discussed, and now my reluctance and acceptance of, yeah, okay, I kind of like Discord, and I will make one. It has not been asked. Are you coming down to the Dice Fest? I am not. I have tickets I need to sell. I have tickets and 2 shirts. I need to find somebody that needs tickets and needs shirts. But we are not going to make it this year. I initially, we had planned on it, but just with everything. No, I know. We're all sitting pretty. Thank you, Eric. No, I really, I want to go. I think it's just timing. I don't think I have enough time. I have so much stuff that I'm trying to get done, like to get everything off the ground, and then just money, and then Kelly's vacation and stuff. So it's just I think for like professional and adult reasons, it's better to wait. I think I think not. So I am bummed though, because I was really excited. But I am sure we will be there next year. I plan on having my shit together before then. But it's coming along slowly. I feel you. It's starting to become expensive. It's the hotel, like everything involved. It would just be a lot of expensives, and it's just I guess at the end of the day, like Adepticon, I went to without intending to go to, and I did not have anywhere near as many expenses, thankfully, due to Clay. But he was just like, "Do you want to ride with me?" I like my skeletons red, and I like them wet. Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. Good morning, buddy. Yeah, no, I did very much want to go, but I think it's better for us to wait. And initially, I did think that, while explaining to Kelly, like, she's never been to either, but I was like, Adepticon is the tabletop gaming, like, convention that everybody knows about. Like, Under the Dice is like the people that I hang out with at Adepticon in like the back room that looks like a hardcore or a metal show let out, like that group, and nothing but. Like, it's just a much more niche focus. And I will say, while it would be more fun, like at Under the Dice is where I would go to have fun, like, and I would go to Adepticon to have fun too. But at Adepticon, like this year especially, like I didn't get to enjoy Adepticon because I kind of felt like I was working the whole time, just trying to talk to everybody that I could, to try and just meet other people that were into the same kind of idea and wanting to do the same kind of stuff that I'm doing now, for the reasons that I want to do them. I guess that's the bigger thing. Yeah, I'm feeling this castle, BB. I don't know where the door's gonna go. Probably here or there. One of these two. I'm thinking we're gonna need mud. We're gonna need sticks. I got all kinds of sticks. We're gonna need some banners. There's gonna be a cat somewhere here. How you pronounce niche? Niche. Reminds me of how Anthony Jr. pronounces Nietzsche on Sopranos. Niche, a real niche. Niche. It's kind of like bought. Like, oh, I went to the store and I bought those the other day. I bought. I don't know. Yeah, my pronunciation. Nick, you missed us talking about niche. Did I say niche? I can't really talk. I'm a filthy Canadian. You're a beautiful Canadian. Shit, what was I gonna say? Shit. Had to do with niche. It's my language, guys. Ask. Canadian. We go niche, but realize that's not everyone. Niche. It's really niche. A niche hobby. I would say niche. If I'm naturally talking, I say niche. Mud and cats, for what you were saying. That's absolutely what I was saying. You did miss our discussing cat ears. We got into that earlier. So there was a little conversation about that. We talked a little bit about some some S&M stuff, and I explained sitting pretty, and that's Eric says that we're all sitting pretty. You were talking about brushing cats. I talked about brushing cats, probably. Funny enough, a niche is a doghouse, or a niche. A niche, a niche. Which one is the doghouse? Un petit pot? My neighbor. I've got some sad news. Like, that's not really like that's not great news for you. Or an alcove, an alcove. My neighbor's dog passed away, which was like my favorite dog, Lulu. She was my friend Alan's dog that he got when he lived when he was going to Savannah, Scad. He got this dog, and then he went kind of crazy, and then he came home with the dog and left it with them. I am heartbroken. I am sorry, Tyler. Yeah, Lulu passed away. Lulu was my favorite dog. Like, she is like a little black collie kind of mix. I don't love like dogs because like I'm just not a dog person. But they had a very large black lab named Little Bit. She was the French teacher, so his doghouse said un petit pot, which would be a little bit in French. But he was an awful dog, and he bit everybody all the time. But I was their babysitter because they lived next door for forever. And fuck, yeah, dude, that dog. Yeah, no, it's, thank you, boss. No, we found out at Flywheel, like, we were at the bar, and my former landlord neighbor, my buddy Alan's dad, Paul was just like, yeah, you know, I didn't find out until on the way back. Kelly was like, they had to put Lulu down because she's old, and I was like, oh, well, I'm glad you didn't tell me that, because then, yeah. But he's only, yeah, no, that's exactly. You get the joke then. You get the joke. And that's, yeah, when they named him that, he didn't bite, but man, there was zero, I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing in the kitchen one day just talking, and he just came up and just bit my wrist, and like if I hadn't had like my watch on, like I used to wear a watch at the time, but it absolutely would have broken the skin. It would have been really not good. He's a big dog. But yeah, so that made me sad. That's a sad thing about dogs. We were talking about brushing cats. I don't remember talking about brushing cats, but I might have. That does sound like something I would do. That's sicko. Yeah, I don't know. So essentially, I've got to figure out what I'm going to put on the top of these to make them. And I'm thinking it's not going to be lids, but it could be lids. It's probably going to be stones. I'm probably going to, at this point, sand it down, make it round. I'm probably going to start just, shit, I don't know. Do I want to make, I'll put filler on there on the top, get it nice and leveled, and then I'll probably let that dry and start going at it with hot glue and probably the foam that I cut off of my Trench Crusade tiles I'm just going to use the Proxon. I'm going to finally use the son of a bitch and cut square shapes and start just gluing them on. And then I'll probably go back over it with a little more filler. But I want the filler to fill in all these gaps, like the name, and then I want the foam to make the shapes of like stones. And I could do that with the filler initially, but that's going to take so much more time. So I think I'm probably going to start just slopping that on there. This needs to be glued more, so I'm going to glue that. I'm going to grab that piece of foam I see over there. You ain't getting away from me. Oh boy, I tell you what. And I got a whole bunch more sticks in. Yesterday I went outside and I got all these sticks, which are more of the wonderful flower that Eric identified. I don't remember what it was called. And this really cool piece of ivy that I have had hanging out, just drying out in my backyard for a long time. It's going to make some really cool trees. I'm really, really excited. Some of them will probably go on this board. We only bit them un petit peu. So very funny. So very witty. Yeah, I'm loving it, man. That's great. Wait a minute. Okay, so we're gonna put a bunch of hot glue on here. And I'm just gonna slide it in there. Wait, is Timothy looping Matt? Wait a minute, is he? I didn't know that either. I didn't know that. I don't know people's names. White Meadow Sweet. White Meadow Sweet. Yes. White Meadow Sweet would be the name of this flower. For those of you that are scouring your outsides for a flower that looks kind of like this, but it's alive, you might be getting your Frenchman mixed up. Looping Mad. Maybe. I can't tell. The picture's too small on my little screen. It looks like him, but now that I see that, now I'm like, wait a minute, that makes sense. See, he's tricky though, because he's not. He's Frenchman, but he's not where you think he'd be. He's over here sneaking around. You're like, wait a minute, you said you came from where? And he's like, yeah, but I'm from France. And you're like, okay, well, you didn't say that in the beginning. I don't know if I can trust you. No, he's a wonderful, sweet man. Showing people the pictures of all my selfies. His were my favorite because every time it got to him, they're like, did that guy not like you? I was like, I mean, I think he did, but oh boy, that's a question I ask myself about damn near everybody. Which is like a good chunk of the first day of like Adepticon is me going around being like, hey, I'm sorry if you hated me last time you met me. But that's just like, oh no. Okay. Yeah, I'll just squeeze it in there. Just squeeze through the vents. I'm thinking this is pretty good amount of work I've gotten done today. I'm pretty pleased with this. I started with no castle, and here's a castle shape. Speaking of cats, I've not seen any of my kids. I have no idea where they are. It's raining outside, so they're probably sleeping. That probably should have been super glue over here, but hey, you know, might as well just stick my fingers directly in the hot glue. He's rising. Also, I don't know, is Canada big on Easter? Does Canada celebrate Easter like do other places? I assume that other countries don't celebrate Easter because it's kind of crazy, in my opinion. Or they celebrate like the actual like pagan holiday that it's probably based on. I don't know. But that's a big thing here, is the amount of signs in yards that say he is risen. And I always like to drive by and yell, or not yell, but and say he is rising. Rising up, gonna kick a little less, gonna kick a little less in the USA. So always sunny for you. Oh fuck no, no Jesus signs. Oh yeah, no, I think Christianity is me. Okay, so that's. I mean, I know it's a. There's things there. I just don't know how much they actually celebrate. Like, I mean, shit. I mean, I hate eggs. We hate eggs. It's the highest of Christian holidays around the world. It's wild. I would assume that it has to be like Christmas. I would assume would be like the one that like yeah, if it's celebrated like Christian holidays, it's like that one. I would think Easter would not be. Oh shit! Actually, it might be. Is that because of Good Friday and stuff? That's because of actual religious reasons, not because of the bunny. So that's a big thing. I'm American. I associate Easter solely almost with bunny. Bunny and eggs. And very little Jesus. But I love a Good Friday. But Easter is the resurrection. Okay. 3 days after on the Friday. On the good Sunday, the best Sunday. This is a weird little cake I'm making. Put this in the oven about 2 hours at 350. Insurance fraud, BB. I'm not gonna burn my house down. My cats, someone moved upstairs. They heard that. They were like, no. Yeah, this would be a nice little cake if you were trying to burn your house down. I think it would catch total associates Easter solely with the bunny, and I could not be happier. Yeah, regrettably my phone battery is getting to. I shall catch you all on the VOD. Bye, possum. Thanks, since school's closed for Friday and Monday. Right? My employer is insane, so they also give us Monday off. That's it. Okay. But yeah, it's in the U.S. It's dying eggs and yeah, like straight up, like. I solely associate here with the bunny. The bunny and chocolate and eggs. I was not really raised religious, like, ever. Like, my mom was the one that when we were in, like, youth group and I went to go hang out with my friends, like, that's all we did at youth group. She was the one that was just like, you're not doing any weird cult shit, right? And, like, I was like, what do you mean? And then now, like, as adults, all of my friends were just like, man, your mom was the only one who knew what the fuck she was talking about. We were all doing real weird cult shit. But yeah, I'm not dunking on anybody's beliefs. Can't stress that enough. I don't fucking know what's going on, man. I'm in here trying to tell you guys to sit pretty. Like, what am I doing? You're literally watching me make a foam cake with old pots. I'm making a trash cake. Do I look like I know what I'm doing with my life? I mean, I kind of feel like I feel pretty happy. I feel good at this point. Oh my god, that's hot. Not sexually hot, but like physically hot. Like that burnt me. Like I said, I don't know if I know what I'm doing. But yeah, man, I love a good bunny day. I love a good Easter egg. I love a good deviled egg. I was an altar boy, but we were Episcopalians, so it was all the rituals of Catholicism and none of the guilt. I learned all the stuff and don't feel bad about any of it. Chill. That sounds good. Episcopalian. Is that the fish? We were mostly bunnies and chocolate eggs, but some families use it like Easter, Thanksgiving together. So yeah, like my family would have gatherings with no church allowed. That's what I meant. Like, and I guess that's like all of our like holidays. I've never had like we're meeting because it's blank. It's like, oh yeah, we meet because that's a day that we meet and we get together as a family and sometimes we have gifts, sometimes we just have food, depending on, that's how we do literally every holiday, except Halloween. Halloween's just Halloween. It's just fucking rad. Halloween is always something that's very celebrated in my house. Again, weird because my mom was very much just like, not into like me being into real fucked up spooky shit all the time, but really loved Halloween and really supported that. That's where we ended up too. All religion has its building. Yeah, it's just like, well, this is fun. I mean, I like when you come over and we dye the eggs, and then I really like deviled eggs. Man, oh man, look at this silly building. Waka waka. Something like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it. I don't think I've got anything else to really blabber on about. And I see you in there. Big old empty space. Just begging to have a whole bunch of foam stuff in there. Here's some. I'm running out of like big foam on the table anyway. And I'm like not wanting to get in the cabinet for more foam. I've got enough foam on the ground. Oh man, that was done. Oh dear merciful God. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it right there. It's just going in right there. That's so hot. I think I've let this sit too hot. Sit too long. It got too hot. Here we go. That or I had that stick be too big. Yeah, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Deviled eggs are the shit. Yeah, okay, see now it's cooled off a little bit now that I can just like force it in there. But the deviled eggs are great. Man, I could eat so many deviled eggs. Ham's also good. We had ham yesterday. So we went to Kelly's parents yesterday for Easter. It was good. Kelly made some pasta salad, which I'm always down with pasta salad. It's legit. Okay. Haha! Just like that. You ever tried using no more nails to glue foam? You need to let it set, unlike hot glue, but we'll glue literally anything. I've used the Gorilla Glue. I've used a bunch of different types of Gorilla Glue, and I've used liquid nails, which I'm assuming is similar to like no more nails. I've used those before, and I probably would use them to glue them to this. Normally, I think I'm probably gonna hot glue this too. I just like hot glue because it's quick. It's the quickest thing to do. Same thing with why I really like to use that the vinyl filler to fill this stuff in. It's just for how quick it is. I can get it in there really quick and start painting within an hour or two, and that's really important for me to like stick with things, to like just knock them out. Now there's a band name, Sticky White Caulk. It's basically very sticky white caulk. Yeah, that's sticky white caulk. Caulk. C-A-U-L-K. Yeah, man, this cake's looking so good. Man, I'm gonna eat this whole thing. Kelly's not gonna get any of it at all. She's gonna be like, "Can I have a piece of that cake?" And I'm gonna be like, "Sure, babe." And I just throw her off the top of this fucking castle. That's how that cake's gonna go. You all have heard it here. Right from off here. Down here. It's like a 10-inch fall. That's crazy. Suplexed. Yeah, I can't wait to John Cena people off of this. By God, she's broken in half. By God, she's broken in half. Tastes just like fondant, too. Hell yeah. I can't stress enough. I bet that this probably does taste similar to fondant. Or caulk. Fondant's not good. I don't personally like fondant. I like chocolate, though. A lot. I know that that's not really related. It might just be that I like chocolate so much that I don't want to eat fondant. Maybe that's what I mean by that. Hey, that finished printing, so that's fun. I've been going for hours now. How long have I been streaming today? It's 3 hours. Man, fondant tastes like plastic to me. Yeah, dude. No, for real. I've been streaming for 3 hours, so I'm probably gonna stop. I've got to go to the bathroom, and I'm kind of hungry, and I'm probably gonna just chill for a minute, and then I'll probably start putting some filler on here. I guess I could start streaming again, but I'll probably clean up. That's the thing I've been enjoying doing lately, is finish like, oh hey, I'm done at this part. Now cleaning up all the shit so it's not like working in the filth, which is what I used to do, and that's a bad idea. Don't do that. Pro tip. Not pro, but there's a tip. But yeah, I think I probably will pop off here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I got this done. I will probably be back later on today, streaming more. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I've enjoyed the talk. It's been great. I will make a Discord today, so I will get that done, and I'll I'll put a link somewhere. I'll let the people know. But thank you all. No pro, not pro. But here's the tip, and just the tip. Yeah, don't knock it till you try it till you love it. But yeah, no, I will catch you guys later. Thank you all again so much. Take care. Sit pretty. Thank you. See you guys. I will be back sometime.